Hi guys, welcome back to another tutorial. It's a girl Blessing, and in this tutorial I'll be sharing with you how I made this beautiful dress. It's a gown with a side pleat. Okay, without further ado, let's go right into the video. Okay, so this is our pattern that we're going to be using, and I'm going to be starting from the basic. Okay, I already drafted out the chest line, bust line, waist, the hip, and the full length of the dress. So I'm going to continue by measuring my shoulder measurement right at the beginning of the pattern paper, which serve as our shoulder line. Then at the chest line I also measured the shoulder measurement. Now I'm marking out the neckline, which is 3 by 3 inches. Okay, like I said earlier, more like a basic drafting. Okay, before we start our alteration, then on the shoulder line I came down by 1 inch for the shoulder slant. Okay, then I'm going to do a little shoulder tightening like so. You can see what I have done. All right, moving on, I'm going to divide my bust divided by 4, which I'm going to mark on the chest line. Okay, so this is what I have. Then I'm going to divide the remaining part of the shoulder line into 2, coming by half an inch or 0.75. Then I'm going to continue by drafting out my armhole like so, as you can see. Then moving on, I'm going to go ahead to measure the same measurement I have for my bust measurement on the bust line. Then my waist divided by 4 as well. I'll mark it out on the waistline plus 1 inch for the dart intake. You can see we have 2 points of at the waistline. Then on the hip line, I'll also go ahead and measure my hip divided by 4. Then I'll mark out whatever I have there. You can see that I added to the paper below, which is because I wanted the gown to be a little bit longer and the pattern paper was not giving me what I wanted, so I added to it. So at the end of the paper, which is the length of the dress, I'm going to be dividing my hip divided by 4. Then I deducted 1 inch. I came in by 1 inch. Hip divided by 4 came in by 1 inch. Then I connected it to the hip line like so. Alright, so from the hip connected to the waist, and from the waist I'm going to be connecting to the bust, the chest line, just the way you see me do. Alright, so moving forward to the waistline, you can see what we have from the beginning to the end. I just wanted you to have a quick view of that. So on the waistline, I'm going to be measuring my nipple to nipple measurement, which is 3. I will do the same on the bust line and also on the hip line. Then I'll connect the lines together. Okay, so this is the line we have. Then on the waistline, I'm going to go in and out by half an inch, just so I can be able to draft out the dart intake. Okay, you can see the way I'm connecting the dart, not directly to the bust line. Okay, like about 0.75 away from the bust line. Then from the waistline, I went down by 6 inches. Then I also measure out the dart line like so. So this is basically what we need. Then the next thing we are going to do now, to mark out that part that is going to be giving us the side pleats. Okay, before we get there, the front is going to be a princess dart. That's our dart is going to be coming from the armhole. Okay, the dart that comes from the armhole is called a princess dart. So this is what we are going to be having for that. Then for the part that we are going to be having the pleat, we are going to be cutting it out from this pattern. So the next thing we are going to do now is to go to the waistline. I'm going to be moving backward or upward to the waistline. Then I'm going to come down by 2 inches. Okay, depending on what you want. If you want your pleats to start directly on the waist, then you can just mark on the waist. All right, so like I said earlier, we are going to be connecting the nipple to nipple downward. Okay, the nipple to nipple measurement that we have on the bust, waist, and hip will connect right to the end of the pattern paper. All right, so now the next thing we're going to do now is to connect this point where we came down by 2 inches. We're going to be connecting it to the dart leg like so. Okay, this can be done with your free hand, and we are not sure you can use your pattern curve. Okay, So this is the part that is going to be giving us the pleat. That's the center front, the side front, and that part is what is going to be giving us the pleat. We are going to be doing a slash and spread method. Slash and spread means you are going to cut it, then you spread. The slashing means you cut, then you spread to your desired fullness. Okay, so these lines I'm creating is just to your own discretion. Then you're going to cut those lines. That is when you're going to spread on your fabric to give you the fullness that you want for your pattern. All right, the next thing you're going to do now is this point here is where the pleat is going to start. After sewing straight, that point is where your pleat will start, right to the waist and to the back. The same thing. Okay, so I'm going to just go ahead and cut out. Just watch the way I cut out so that you do not cut out where you will be needing. Okay, so I'm just cutting out the center front. Now I'm cutting out the side front, and this is what we have. Okay, then I'm going to be cutting out the dart intake. We are going to sew it back. All right, then this is the side front. That's the pleating part. When the time comes, we are going to split it, we are going to slash it, then spread on our fabric for us to sew. Now to the back bodies. Okay, I have imputed the zipper allowance, drafted out the chest line, bust line, waist, hip, and the length. So we are basically doing almost the same thing we did at the front. So but the neckline is going to be different. It's going to be a bit not too low for the back, so I came down by 1.5 for the back inch. That's for the back depth. The neck depth for the back is 1.5, then the width remains 3. Now this is where we have our shoulder slant. Okay, then we are going to continue by measuring our bust divided by 4, just so we draft out our arm hole like so. Okay, so I'm going to complete the measurement by measuring my waist divided by 4 plus 1 inch for that. Then also my hip divided by 4. I'm going to mark it. Then at the hem, that's at the end of the pattern paper, which serves as the length, the full length, I'm going to also mark out my hip divided by 4 minus 1. Okay, after you divided your hip by 4, whatever you get, you come in by 1 inch. Okay, as though you want to draft something like a basic gown. All right, so now we are going to connect all the lines together like so to give us our complete pattern. All right, so now I'm going to also take in our nipple to nipple measurement so that we can draft out our dart intake just the way we did for the front. Okay, the difference between the front and the back is the zipper allowance, the neckline. Then the back is going to be our normal waist dart and not the princess dart. Okay, if it were to be a princess dart, I would have just used the same pattern and not bother cutting, so that by the time I want to transfer the pattern to fabric, I'll just include the zipper allowance for the back. That would have just been the difference, but I want the back to be our basic waist dart. All right, so now the same thing we did on the waistline will come down by 2 inches. Then we are going to be connecting with a curve to the dart leg like so. I just hope this is simple enough for you to understand, but if you have any question, let me know in the comment section. All right, so the nipple to nipple measurement we have, you are going to connect downward. Okay, so for this back piece, we are starting from the zipper line. Okay, starting from the zipper line, then we'll connect like this so that we can be able to cut out that part which is going to be serving as our pleat. Okay, so this is what we have. The next thing we want to do now is to do the alteration for the zipper line. Okay, to avoid the zipper bulge, I'm going to go in by 0.75. all right, then from that 0.75 I will connect to the pattern paper like so. Okay, so give us that curvy effect at the center back. This should be done on the waistline. Okay, your intake should be done on the waistline. All right, so this will avoid this will eliminate the zipper bulge by the time you're fixing your zipper using the same allowance to fix your zipper. You can see what we have. All right, so that is for the back. Then this line we're going to be slanting it as well, but when we get to transfer to the pattern, to transfer the pattern to the fabric, I'm going to be showing you a little alteration as well. So moving forward, this is the fabric we are going to be using. This is a crepe fabric, an off-white crepe fabric. So I've gone ahead to transfer the back piece or the back pattern to the fabric. You can see the way, half inch all around, but for the side I added 1.5 inches. Then at the hem I added 1 inch for the folding allowance. I hope this is quite understood. Every other part is half an inch. Then for the side front, you can see what we have, half an inch, while for the side I added 1.5 inch for the side sewing. Then center front, which was cut on fold, that is what we have. So now I folded my fabric into 4. Okay, I folded it into 2, then into 2 again, that's into 4. So the place that is on fold is where we are going to be placing our pattern. Now note that the pattern we have for both the back and the front are the same. That's for this part that is going to be slash and spread. We have it as the same measurement. So I'm just going to be using one of it, which is going to serve as the front and the back, since our fabric is folded into 2. That's our fabric is on fold. So one part is for the back, one part is for the front. So I'm just going to use just one side. That's what I'm going to be using, just one of the pattern paper for that slash and spread. Okay, so I'm going to be placing it in such that the way we have numbered it is where I'm going to be placing. Then the hip part, this last part is the hip part, so I'm going to be placing it on this part that is on fold, because we do not need any joining at that side. By the time you want to sew on your main body, you do not need any joining over there. So that part that is on fold is where you're going to place the hip part, because it is connecting from the front to the back. I hope this is quite understood. So I added half an inch at the side, that's the part that we're going to be joining to the main bodies. The hem added 1 inch for folding. Then at the top I added half an inch. So this is how I'm going to, just the way you have your curve, you can see the way I have spread it. You can just spread to your discretion. That's the fuller you want, the more you spread. Okay, so after cutting out, you can see what we have. You can see what we have here. Okay, so this is it. That part that I am holding is where, that part there is where the dart will start from. So you will notch it to indicate where the dart will start from. So moving on to the sleeve. This is a basic sleeve. Okay, if you don't know how to draft a basic sleeve, I will just link that in the description box. I have a tutorial on that. So I came down by 4 inches, then I came in from the armhole area by 2, then I connected like so, because we are using a cap sleeve. Okay, it's more like a cap sleeve. We don't need a full basic sleeve. So to avoid the sleeve from opening, okay, to opening up after sewing on your dress, I'm going to be taking out a little bit of the dart, like we are taking out a dart intake. Okay, you're taking out a dart intake, you're going to cut it this way, then you are going to close it up. Okay, that's in a way we avoid the sleeve from opening up after sewing on your bodies. Okay, so this is the sleeve we are going to be sewing, or we are going to be using for this tutorial. All right, so I'll just go ahead now to transfer the sleeve to pattern. Okay, I folded it into 4, so the fabric is going to serve as both the main fabric and the lining. Okay, so I've cut out 2, and I'm cutting out another 2 again, which will serve as the lining. So this is what we have. So moving forward, let's start our sewing. Okay, so I'm just removing the pins and the pattern paper from the fabric. So I cut out a facing for the neckline. If you have been following my videos, you would have known how to cut a facing for necklines. So I did for both the center front and the center back. Okay, that is where it's carrying the neckline. So I cut out facing for each of them. So we're going to go ahead to place the facing. We're going to pin them down, go ahead and sew. Then you can as well weave the hem of the facing, or you just fold it in to secure it, to avoid it from fraying if you have a fabric that is fraying. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and sew. So after sewing, this is what we have. I've gone ahead to weave the hem of the facing. So now this is our center front, so I'm placing the side front to it now. And I'm going to be notching where it's going to be stopping on the main fabric, so I do not exceed where it's going to stop. So I'm going to be picking each of the fabric, and this is how you are going to see me place it, just the way you see me place it. We're starting from that point where the sewing should stop. I'm going to be pinning it down, Then I'll go ahead to sew with 1/2 inch from that point right back to the armhole. Okay, so this we are going to be doing to the both side of the fabric. Okay, so this is us placing the side front to the center front. All right, don't forget this princess dart is just for the front alone. For the back we are going to be having our normal dart. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead to place this pattern, that's the fabric on the pattern, so that will just help me mark out the dart lines easily. Okay, you can as well measure, but I just wanted to get, I want to get a quick result, so I'll mark out my dart where it should start, so you can see what I have, then where it should stop. So that's why I'm using a pencil. Okay, this I will do to the both side of the side or the center back. Okay, the center back, I'm going to sew the dart. So I've joined them and I've ironed them open. You can see how neatly this is sewn. Then the next thing I want to do now is to also show you the back. I went ahead to sew down the zipper line for, because at the moment I was shooting this video, I didn't get a matching color of zipper. So I've sewn in the dart for the back. So the next thing I want to do now is to sew in the shoulder. Okay, you can see the way I'm sewing the shoulder. You pick the facing for the back and overlap it on the shoulder for the front, then you sew. This will help us secure that part. We are going to sew with 1/2 inch. We are going to do this to the both shoulder. So after doing that, we are going to go ahead to shape in our dress. Okay, we have to shape before we can hand that part that has the pleat. So I'm going to be shaping it using your body measurement. Okay, then for the neckline, you can as well use your hemming gum to hold the facing down to the fabric. Okay, so now I'm measuring the armhole, the side, the armhole, the bust, the waist down to below the hip, below the waist. Okay, so I'm measuring them to have a proper fit. Okay, for this dress, this fabric is actually a little bit stretchy, so as I'm taking my measurement, I'm also deducting about almost 1 from the body measurement, so that it doesn't become too big on the bodies because of the stretchy effects of the fabric. I hope you understand. All right, so what I have marked out now, I'm going to go ahead to sew just the way we have marked it out, and after marking it, this is what we have. Okay, I'm done marking, and the next thing we want to do now is to go ahead to sew our pleats. I'm notching the center of the pattern that will be sewn on the main bodies, so that that center pattern is where it's going to be laying on the side joining. Okay, where we have the back and the front joined together, that's where the knot will be. So that is the part where we have the front and the back joined together, and this is the center part of the part we are going to be pleating. So I'm pinning it so that we do not exceed the pleated part. So now I'm going to be going to the hem of this other part of the fabric. So this is the hem. You make sure the hem are matching. Then we are going to pin down all the way to where we notch. Okay, the part that we notch. Now the dart leg is where the pleating will start from. So this is it here. I'm going to pin it. So from that dart leg down to where we have the front and the back joined together, they are going to be pleats. We are going to be pleating that part. You see the excess we have here is what we are going to pleat in between this part we have here. You can see. Then I'm going to go to the other side, which is the front part, pick the hem and pin. Then the part where we are going to start our pleating from, you are going to also pin it. Okay, you are going to pin it this way until you get to the hem. Ensure the hem are matching. Okay, so this is what we have. So this excess we have here as well, we are going to be pleating them. These are what we're going to be doing on both sides of this dress. Guys, we are almost done. Okay, so this is what we have. You can see how beautiful this is coming. It's quite easy. I'm sure you're going to be trying this. You can see the pleat after sewing straight. You can see we start our pleat from the dart leg, don't forget. Then we'll pleat all the way to the other side. You can see. Then we'll sew round down, we'll sew straight downward. Then the hem has been folded in. Okay, so the only thing we are left with now is the sleeve. The hem of the sleeve, you can see I picked 2 of each fabric, folded it, I sew it in, turn it out, then give it a nice press. I'm going to be sewing it down. This is an example of the one I've sewn down already, and we have the center of the sleeve notched. So I'm going to be placing it on the shoulder line, the part that is notched, which is the center of the sleeve. You place it on the center line. Then you're going to be pinning all the way like this. You know, this sleeve is not a complete sleeve. It's not going to be getting to the underarm because we already took out about 2 inches from it. So that is where the sleeve is going to stop. So you're just going to go ahead and sew just the way we are pinning it down. Okay, guys, if you have watched to this extent and you're yet to subscribe, please do try to subscribe. It doesn't cost you anything. You can see how beautiful this sleeve is going to be looking. So repeat this to the both sleeves and we are done. So now I'm going to be opening up the zipper line. This was the zip I could get. This was the zip I could lay my ends on. I fixed the zip and voila, our dress is ready. You can see how beautiful this is looking. I feel like this video is not doing justice as much as it is looking one-on-one. Okay, but I'm sure you have learned something. Don't forget to like, don't forget to share with your other soulmates or soul friends. Don't forget to turn on the notification bell so that each time I post a new video, you will be notified. Okay, thank you so much guys for watching. Thanks for always coming back. I love you. Bye.